meeting is now called to order. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, may we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Prince? Mr. Person?
Here.
Ms. Switchy? Mr. McIrvin?
Here.
Ms. Perez?
Here.
Mr. Pavoni?
Here.
Mr. Corman?
Here.
Roll call, Mr. Mayor, 2 absent.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Person.
I move the absent members be excused.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Person, second by Mr. Corman, that council members Prince and Witchy be excused. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. First item on the agenda is a special proclamation.
Okay, proclamation, Parks and Recreation Month. Whereas the U.S. House of Representatives has designated July as Parks and Recreation Month, and whereas parks planning and recreation programs are an integral part of communities throughout this country and promote and support a more livable Renton community by providing recreation, a museum, human services programs, neighborhood and special event opportunities, a golf course, and modern park facilities, and undisturbed natural areas. And whereas parks, open space, and recreation programs build healthy, active communities using chronic disease prevention practices, provide therapeutic recreation services for those who are mentally or physically challenged, and improve the mental and emotional health of all citizens. And whereas participation in neighborhood programs build unity, strengthens volunteerism and community involvement, and promotes integration of the community's growing cultural diversity while preserving Renton's history and sharing its stories. And whereas parks, urban forestry, and trails increase a community's economic prosperity through increased property values, expansion of the local tax base, increased tourism, the attraction and retention of businesses, and crime reduction. And whereas Renton parks and natural areas ensure the ecological beauty of the Renton community and provide places for children and adults to connect with nature and recreate outdoors. And whereas parks, open space, and natural recreation areas improve water quality, protect groundwater, prevent flooding, improve the quality of the air we breathe, provide vegetative buffers and connected greenways, and provide habitat for salmon and other wildlife. Now therefore, I, Dennis Law, Mayor of the City of Renton, do hereby proclaim July 2018 to be Parks and Recreation Month in the City of Renton, and I encourage all citizens to join me in this special observance. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Renton to be affixed the 2nd day of July 2018, signed Dennis Law, Mayor of the City of Renton.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr.
I
Person.
move the proclamation be approved as read.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Person, seconded by Mr. Pavoni, that this proclamation be adopted as read. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. We are fortunate to have several people from the Parks Department here this evening to accept this proclamation. Stephanie Coleman and Dana Peltz, Park Supervisors. You guys want to stand up so people can see you? They supervised 32 parks and 12 miles of trails. And then we also have Jennifer Spencer, a recreation coordinator. Jennifer, you want to stand up? Who's going to be taking care of our 4th of July festivities this week. And Mary Adams, who handles a special population program. So it's my pleasure to present this to you tonight. We're going to come up here.
Ed running in front here.
How was that presentation by the crime lab?
Yeah. We talked about it. But they Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Stephanie, you're last. Are you doing the speech?
Well, I didn't make my entrance.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. I did want to tell you that we did save you for 20 minutes because they did have speeches, all of them.
Oh, is there? Well, thank you very much. Thanks for being here. And, you know, more importantly, thanks for the great work you guys and your staff do. I mean, we need police, we need roads, but the people love the parks and the trails and the recreational programs. So thank you very much for all your hard work.
Thanks.
So talking about police and fire, it's my pleasure at this time to call up Fire Chief Rick Marshall and our Police Chief Ed Van Bailey, who are going to give you guys an update on what they are going to be doing for fireworks enforcement.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. Chief Van Bailey and I wanted to come and briefly speak to you about the 4th of July and what we're doing together this year as we have for several years in the past. Renton Police and Renton Fire are teaming up to have crews out patrolling the streets. And as the council is aware, for 13 years now, we have had a voter-approved ban on fireworks. And we always like to stress the fact that this ban that we have in Renton was actually voted on and passed by our voters, by the citizens that are out there. And we feel a tremendous sense of responsibility to ensure that the voters' wishes are maintained. Like I said, for 13 years, we've had a variety of different ways in which we've gone about fireworks control with this fireworks ban and our response to that. And this year, which is slightly different than in years past, we figure after 13 years, enough is enough. And I've told our staff that we're going to have a zero tolerance when it comes to fireworks. We've actually purchased a brand new storage container that is allowing us to store as many fireworks as we could possibly collect and store them properly. And so we're definitely taking steps there. And then we're going to have our staff teamed up with Renton Police staff out patrolling the neighborhoods, and they will be seizing any fireworks that they come across. And in years past, we've a lot of times allowed them to take them and go other places. The problem that we have with that is, one, they often opt not to go other places and just continue to light them off after we leave, or two, they take them just outside of the city. Well, we still share in the responsibility of protecting those neighborhoods as well, and have seen the effects of that. So we feel it's time to just start collecting. So that's kind of where fire is at, and turn it over to Chief Van Bailey.
Yeah, thank you, Chief. Yes, I just wanted to add a little bit to that as far as the plan. Renton Police will team up with fire investigators. We'll have teams that will be responding to the 911 calls, but also on-view activity. At night, of course, you can see a lot of the activity going on, but we're going to camp out some of the regular neighborhoods and continue to patrol. We'll have extra patrols down at Coulon Beach as well for the 4th of July event. Pending the crowds there, we'll have some additional resources to go out and help enforce the fireworks complaints that happen. One of the things I wanted to let everybody know was what we're actually looking for. So for the viewers, some of the laws that we have in Renton, we have the municipal codes, of course, which is the possession, sale, or discharge of consumer fireworks, your local store-bought, maybe in the parking lot of Safeway. And then the possession, sale, or discharge of fireworks not classified as consumer, usually bought someplace off, maybe at a reservation or something like that. It's usually measured by the weight of the explosive inside. Under 50 grams would be your consumer. The reckless discharge of fireworks, that would be anything that is reckless in nature that can cause property damage or injury. And then the possession of 1 or more pounds of prohibited fireworks is another thing we'll look at. Of course, any fireworks that we find or see out there, we'll confiscate in addition with fire and put that in the approved box that they have. One of the things I wanted to let everybody know was, as far as asking the residents how to help and what to do when they see fireworks going on, is they can call 911 and provide a location. What really helps us, besides the location, is any associated vehicles or addresses, and maybe a description of the primary offender. that will help police and fire kind of narrow down where they're going, because usually when fireworks are going on, there's generally large crowds. So hopefully with fire, it's usually a non-confrontational episode where we meet and talk to people and see if we can't get compliance through the fireworks and taking the fireworks. So hopefully this year it'll be nice and peaceful. So,
Thank you, Ed.
yes, sir.
Any question, council, for either chief?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Mr. Person.
Yeah, for the police chief. Will we be issuing citations if we
Yes, sir.
catch people?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
If we witness any of those, the four described, we will be providing citations for them.
Any other questions from council? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to administrative report, Mr. Harrison.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. Following up on the report from the fire chief and police chief, obviously, we've got something happening on Wednesday, which is 4th of July, Independence Day celebration. And we'll begin that 16th annual celebration of the 4th at Gene Coulon Memorial Beach Park, beginning at 7 a.m. when the gates open. And the events begin at 9 a.m. with a co-ed volleyball tournament and end at 10 p.m. with a spectacular 25-minute fireworks display. There'll be free activity zones all day for kids featuring inflatables, games, and face painting in both the north and south ends of the park from 1 to 4 p.m. And then live entertainment begins at 4 p.m. and will run until 9:30 p.m. To prepare for the fireworks display and to expedite individuals, as we all know, traffic can be very challenging at the end of that evening. Leaving the park at the end of that evening, Lake Washington Boulevard North will be closed to traffic from 9:30 p.m. until approximately 11:15 p.m. Have a safe and happy 4th of July, Independence Day.
Thank you, Bob. Okay, next is, well, we have nobody signed up for audience comments, so next is a consent agenda. There are 2 items for council consideration. Are there any items that council member wants pulled for discussion?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Mr.
I move
Person.
the consent agenda be approved as presented.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Person, second by Mr. Corman, that council approve the consent agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? The ayes have it. Moving on to unfinished business, Mr. Person.
Just one minor topic that I would like to refer to the administration again. Quite a few years ago, we got a grant for free electric chargers for electric cars. And we still have them. And the last time I asked, I was told that the maintenance of those was getting to be a problem to take care of. And what we're seeing is people who are not even residents of Renton come in and plug into our free charging stations and sit there. And I don't know if that's our job to be providing free electricity. So I just like to know, an opinion of whether should we start charging for them or what the whole deal is, because I can't remember. I remember we got the grant and it was for a specified period of time. And I know there's charging stations down at the community center and several other places, I think even to the parking garage. And so,
Okay. Was that, I don't know, we need a motion. So we will look into both the grant program and when we received it and find out what we're doing and the length of time and
yeah, because
report
if it
back to
started
you.
if the maintenance of this stuff is going to start costing us time and money,
Exactly.
it's more than the cost of electricity.
Yeah. Okay, will do. Mr. McIrvin?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, the Utilities Committee has a committee report.
Hey, Utilities Committee report amendment number 2 to a contract with RH2 engineers for the lift station and force main rehabilitation Group 1 facilities. The Utilities Committee recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation to execute amendment number 2 to CAG 17050 with RH2 Engineers Incorporated in the amount of $332,000 for the lift station and force main rehabilitation Group 1 facilities for final design and services during bidding. This is signed by the committee chair.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. McIrvin.
I move that the council concur with the recommendation of the Utilities Committee.
Second.
Been moved by Mr. McIrvin, second by Mr. Corman, that council concur with the Utilities Committee report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, Ms. Perez.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Mr. Pavoni
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
and Mr. Corman.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I have a Transportation Committee report to present.
Okay, Transportation Committee report regarding a job order contract with Sabre Contractors for guardrail maintenance and repair. The Transportation Aviation Committee recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation to authorize the mayor and city clerk to execute job order contract number JOC 03000 with Sabre Contractors Incorporated for repair of 30 damaged guardrail sections. The amount of the contract is $249,189 and is not subject to applicable state sales tax in accordance with WAC 458-20-171. This is signed by the chair and committee members.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Mr. Corman.
Yeah, this action will actually sort of deal with a backlog of guardrails that have been hit at different times and damaged. And so it's, the committee felt it's well worth the expense. And with that, I'd like to move approval of the committee report.
Second?
It's been moved by Mr. Corman, second by Mr. Person, that council concur with the Transportation Committee report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
That's all, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to new business, Mr. Person.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, 2 items. Next Monday, July 9th, the Committee of the Whole will meet in council chambers, and the one topic will be the Public Records Act, the Joint Legislative Audit and Review Committee report. That'll be at 6:30 p.m. And at 5:30 p.m., the Finance Committee will meet in the council conference room. And we have second quarter budget amendments and fee schedule amendment, vouchers, and emerging issues and revenue streams. That's it, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Mr. McIrvin.
No new business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Ms. Perez.
No new business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Mr. Pavoni.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to announce that the Public Safety Committee meeting scheduled for July 9th has been canceled. That
Okay,
is all.
thank you. Mr. Corman.
No new business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, what's the wish of the council?
Move we adjourn.
Second?
Been moved by Mr. Person, second by Mr. Corman, that we adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.